Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money. Welcome back to another episode of the Mills Knows Bills podcast, where we answer burning financial questions, specifically to the business owners out there. I'm the host as well as CEO of MKB, Mills Bender. And off screen today, we have Chloe from Day of Socials, my marketing gal, who is going to be asking some commonly asked questions. So we want this to feel a little bit more conversational style. So Chloe, what's the first question that our listeners would like to hear?
First question is, financial stress is real for blue-collar business owners. What's the first thing you tackle to give them peace of mind?
Well, the first thing I would look at is what specifically is causing you financial stress. Is it cash flow? Is it feeling like you're working all the time and not having enough time back at the house, right? So financial stressors and really business stressors, it's different for every single person. But I would say a common one that I've been experiencing with most of my clients right now is actually stressors around cash flow. So a lot of people will say cash is king. That's not, yes, but no. Okay. Cash flow is king, the rate at which your money is coming in and going. And so where the stress comes in is there's a lot of expenses coming out, but not a lot of money coming in. How can I afford those expenses if I don't have the revenue coming in? And so a lot of times the business owner will also have a moment of desperation where they feel like they'll take any given job that they want to try to make ends meet, but that job ends up costing them more in the long run because it's maybe a job that's not giving them as much profit, or they feel like they need to add this new vertical in their business that is maybe distracting them. It's giving them shiny object syndrome, and it's not actually a sustainable move. It's just a quick fix. And so they're always playing catch up because they're always fixing the short-term problem, but they're not actually fixing the long-term problem. And, frankly speaking, they don't know any better. They don't really know that it's a long-term issue. They feel like, well, once the short term is fixed, it's fine. I'm just going to get a loan and I'll be able to pay these people, but you're just kicking the can down the road. And so you're always in this state of stress because you're on this insanity cycle of always trying to figure it out, but never really stepping off. So the first thing I would do is look at what's actually causing the stress. But given the current state of our economy, and frankly, the conversations I've just been having with clients and prospects and networking circles, a lot of it is the stress is dependent upon that cash flow.
Okay, so with that, with the struggle with the cash flow, right, especially with upfront cost and delayed payments, what's the biggest cash flow mistake you see, and how do you help clients fix it?
Well, it kind of goes back to only fixing it in the short term. It's okay to have a short-term fix as long as it is affording you the long-term solution as well. And so there's a few different things that you can look at. Specifically short-term, you're going to be able to cut down your expenses. If you have overdue accounts receivables, you can collect on those overdue accounts receivables. And then another short-term solution is maybe getting some financing. But I want you to realize that those three options are really just Band-Aids. They're Band-Aids, because they're not something that's repeatable. Sure, you can cut your expenses, and if you keep your expenses cut, that's a long-term solution. But the problem is typically you feel desperate to cut the expenses that are actually affording you more revenue in the long term. So that's a short-term solution, okay? The accounts receivables, once it's collected, especially if you have no revenue in the pipeline. So again, short-term fix. And then getting the financing, you're just paying interest on top of fixing that short-term cash flow problem. So none of those are necessarily wrong. They become wrong when you're not using those as opportunities to also solve the long-term problem, which is permanently decreasing your expenses, negotiating with your vendors or manufacturers, if you have any, to get lower pricing, increasing your revenue. And increasing your revenue can look like increasing your pricing, adding verticals in your business that actually makes sense, maybe something that has a little bit more of a higher profit margin or passive income component, or simply being able to just bring in more deals, bring in more revenue in general, and having a system and process for bringing in that revenue on a more consistent basis. The thing I want to kind of point out here, and this is a little bit of a sidebar on the cash flow side, if you're increasing your revenue by having most of your revenue coming from the same one or two clients, that is a short-term solution. Please don't think that that's a long-term one, because you're not diversifying that risk. And if you don't properly hedge that risk by bringing in more clients or increasing your savings, then you're going to find yourself in another situation that is stressful if those clients decided to walk away from you. So that was a little side note. But other long-term solutions can look like getting a line of credit that you don't have to tap into, but you have there as an option, increasing your savings. So there's a few different situations that there's a few different things that you get to use depending on your situation, but cash flow is the lifeline of your business, and how you manage that will dictate whether or not you'll have success.
So now we're going in a little bit to raising prices in general, right? So for blue collar businesses in competitive markets, raising prices isn't always an option. Mm-hmm. What strategies do you use to boost profitability without increasing prices?
Get creative. Go back to negotiating with those vendors and manufacturers, but also see if there's a way that you can cut down on your labor cost on that project. Are you able to make your team a little bit more efficient? I was speaking with a client just yesterday who he had a tenured individual go to the job site with the crew and identified how they could increase their output 3 times. 3 times. Simply by moving a couple things around. So look at how inefficient your current processes are and see if there's a way to increase your profit simply by making your people more efficient, therefore cutting down the days that you're actually on the job site. That brings you in more profit. Other options for increasing your profit without increasing your pricing. Make your people more efficient. Maybe you need to, in the short term, purchase another piece of equipment that will make your people efficient too. It's going to have an upfront cost. So make sure you're financing that or getting setting aside money to save for it, but have a game plan for how that's going to allow you to complete the job faster, therefore increasing your profit margin. Does that answer your question? Is there anything else that maybe you thought of? Okay. So if you're in a situation where you're stressed about your finances in your business and you're done, you're tired of trying to figure it out, get off the insanity cycle. Reach out to us here at Mills Knows Bills. You can go to our website, millsknowsbills.com. At the bottom of the page in the footer, you'll see a schedule a call button. Schedule a free consultation with us. We'd love to help you stop feeling stressed about your business, because this is what's supposed to be giving you the most time and money freedom. And if it's being a time and money suck, you don't own an asset, you own a liability. I hope that this information was helpful today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.